Hello and welcome to ILTV's Evening Update. I'm Aaron Porras here with the latest news from Israel. On Sunday, over 100 Jewish gravestones in Philadelphia were overturned. The Anti-Defamation League is offering a $10,000 reward for any information leading to the capture of those involved. In a statement released yesterday, the ADL's regional director of Philadelphia, Nancy K. Barron-Bayer, said, "We are horrified by the desecration at Mount Carmel Cemetery. Though police have opened an investigation into the vandalism, they have yet to say whether or not they're treating the incident as a hate crime. This incident comes just a week after 150 graves were vandalized at a Jewish cemetery outside of St. Louis, Missouri." On Sunday, officials from the Palestinian Prisoners Club called for a boycott of Israeli military courts after a Palestinian murder convict freed as part of the Gilad Shalit prisoner exchange was sentenced to life in prison. The organization also discouraged convicts from paying their fines, which they claim amounted to $6 million in 2016. Palestinians arrested by Israeli security forces are generally tried by army courts, where defense lawyers say they are often not notified of the charges against their clients and are denied access to them before the trial begins. The same military court system on Tuesday sentenced Israeli soldier Elor Azaria to 18 months in prison for manslaughter, after he shot and killed an incapacitated Palestinian attacker who had been wounded in a stabbing attack on IDF soldiers in the West Bank city of Hebron. On Friday, the United Nations Human Rights Office called the sentence an unacceptable punishment for an apparent extrajudicial killing. According to a report by the Palestinian Authority and the Palestinian Prisoners Club, 85 of the Palestinians freed in the 2011 prisoner exchange have since been rearrested by Israel, with 65 of them carrying out life sentences. Today, hundreds of ultra-Orthodox Jewish high school girls were bused to the Western Wall in order to disrupt the Women of the Wall's monthly egalitarian prayer session. According to police, there was an estimated 1,000 to 2,000 Orthodox high school girls filling up the women's section of the Western Wall, most of them coming from schools affiliated with the religious National Bnei Akiva movement. Most of the students that were present were brought in by the Liba organization, an extreme right-wing group that vehemently opposes any sort of inclusion of Jewish religious expression that isn't explicitly Orthodox. At the demonstration, men were heard shouting at the Women of the Wall, saying that they're wicked women, and that they are Christian and not Jewish. The Liba organization opposes the government's plan to open an egalitarian prayer space at the Western Wall to accommodate the Women of the Wall as well as the Reform and Conservative movement. No arrests so far have been made. Yesterday, clashes erupted in the Palestinian refugee camp of Ein el-Hilweh, the largest refugee camp in Lebanon. The clashes took place only hours after Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas had completed a 3-day trip to the camp. According to Lebanon's state-run national news agency, clashes took place shortly before sunset between Abbas's Fatah group and another organization that has yet to be identified. Several people were reported injured in the refugee camp, located near the southern port city of Sidon. Ein al-Hilweh is known for being notoriously lawless and for housing groups sympathetic to the Islamic State and Al-Qaeda. In a surprise turn of events, Israel's former head of the Mossad spy agency, Ephraim Halevi, is advising that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu deal directly with Vladimir Putin and not United States President Donald Trump on the issue of Iran. His reasoning is simple, that Moscow, unlike DC, has influence over the hardline Islamic Iranian regime. More to the point, however, Halevi stressed the importance of dealing with the enemy directly. In a Times of Israel-sponsored event in Jerusalem Sunday night, Halevi said, quote, "It's essential to talk to your enemy. You must do it. But we haven't been. We have to talk to Hamas. We have to talk to Khaled Mashal. Everybody's talking to him," end quote. The Islamic State was the only exception to Halevi's statement, quote, "What do you have to lose from talking to people," end quote. Netanyahu's handling of the Iranian threat wasn't the only thing the former spy master took issue with during the discussion with the Times of Israel David Horowitz. Halevi also charged that Netanyahu was not interested in actually solving the Israel-Palestinian conflict, and that he was not encouraged by the Prime Minister's state-minus plan that was devised last year. Under this idea, the Palestinians would get a demilitarized state under Israeli security control. Halevi said, quote, "I don't know what limited sovereignty is. I know what sovereignty is. I know what not sovereignty is," end quote. That's all for now. Stay tuned on ILTV.tv for our main daily broadcast playing after this. I'm Aaron Porras and see you next time with our morning briefing from Israel at 8 a.m. Eastern Time.